Welcome to the Young and the Wrestlers, the Pop Culture's WWE podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Batson, alongside
Jemberg.
It's like Goldberg,
But Jem.
we just recorded one very quickly. It was a throw together at the last minute. We're so sorry.
Now I'm Jemberg.
He does it every Friday morning at 8 a.m. on your podcast services, including Spotify, and 9 a.m. on them YouTubes. If you want to join us, if you want to show the love for Pop Cultures, head to patreon.com/thepopculturist. Throw a couple $1 reviews our way, and if you do so, you can join us and live and watch the show in the moment.
Live chat with us.
Live chat, that's the one.
Yeah.
But not like a cam show or anything. Well, I guess it's a cam. Technically, it is a cam show.
Real softcore.
But with so softcore that like nothing inappropriate happens.
Except for a cuss word or two.
Yeah, except for the occasional swears. But like, whew, man, if you ever think that like cam shows really just kind of tease you for like hours, that's totally what we do.
Yeah.
Like, you may think there's going to be some like, lady and or man parts. No. Nothing.
We'll talk about them, but
literally
they never
nothing. That sounds worse. So if you join us on Patreon at any tier, you can watch us record the show live, which is very, very cool. If you want to do a bit more of a one-off show of affection, head over to popcultures.com/shop, where you can buy other assorted shit with our logos on it. Mm-hmm. We are also on Twitch at twitch.tv/thepopculturists. So as we said in the previous episode, we had a week off. We're terribly sorry. Both very sick, but now we're back.
We're back.
We're back, and we're back so hard that you get 2 episodes. See, there's your first softcore sex reference.
Yeah.
And Dash comes in with the Kabuki Warriors.
Yeah.
Or the, what's the other word?
Should I say it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, the Bukkake Warriors, if you rearrange the letters.
Real inappropriate.
Sexual references.
Are we edgy now?
Adult content.
Yeah, edgy. We earned that explicit label. But anyways,
demonetized.
Because we already have done a big hunk of the show of like what we've been up to, all that sort of stuff, we can just get right into this week's episode of Raw and SmackDown. As mentioned, we will highlight of some things that took place last week when we missed that may come into play in this episode, but we'll keep it pretty much this week.
Yes.
This week, Jem took the notes for Raw.
I did.
She also took the notes for SmackDown, but they're in my book. So she's going to do Raw, and I will do your SmackDown. And Kilobyte says PG got thrown out the window. You damn right it did. We spanked the button way out.
We on the attitude era shit right now. Yeah. Raw started in El Paso, Texas.
El Paso.
At the University of Texas. It opened with our Borowski, I believe he's the Wild Card.
Wild Card.
Roman Reigns opens up. He comes out for a 6-man tag match that has been announced.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Was it announced when he walked out or after?
It was announced when he walked out. Oh, as he was walking out. Oh. Yeah, so he's here for a 6-man tag match. It'll be Roman Reigns and his cousins, the Usos, versus Drew McIntyre and the Revival.
Now we should mention this is on the tail end of last week's Memorial Day show where they had a big fucking block
Usos
party.
had a big old block party.
The Revival weren't invited.
They weren't invited, but they were invited because later on we find out they're there, and Naomi had invited them because they need to squash the beef. And then I shit you not, they
squash beef.
Yeah. A Wilder like squashes a bit of beef and drops it, and I was like,
it's like fucking Always Sunny references.
It was so dumb.
Squashing beef bearing hatchets.
Yeah, little things like that. Like right before that, like Tamina come up when she was looking at Naomi all brooding, and then they smiled and hugged and family and rah.
First time we've seen Tamina since Nia left.
Yeah, very interesting. It was nice to see her smile. She got a nice smile.
Yeah, she's been like,
I'm Tamina.
I'm Tamina. Like I'm glad because I've always projected hate at Tamina unnecessarily.
Yeah, I felt
because it was always the Nia Jax hate, and then because she was associated with Nia Jax, I'm like fuck you too, Tamina.
Yeah.
And then
she smiled and hugged Naomi, and it was very sweet. But yeah, the Revival and the Usos get into like some little like kiddie play like beanbag game thing, and they're competing at that, and then the Revival get like nasty and cheap and stuff in it, and then this was all off the back of that, obviously.
So Roman comes in the ring, gets into the ring, stands up, doesn't even say anything, because next thing, Shane McMahon's music blasts. Here comes the Mooney, and the Mooney comes in, and he says some things.
Yeah. Right before that, they're like, oh, we're waiting for, I believe, Brock Lesnar to arrive because they do mention that Brock Lesnar's going to
Funniest thing. So,
yeah, I've written this down.
For the second week in a row prior to the show, they're like, Brock's cashing in this week. Please watch the show. He's going to cash in so good. Please. And they cut to like the backstage and they're like, oh man, he's coming. Brock's coming. And they show like a footage of the back and you see this guy like
just walking in and then he's like, oh shit, they're live.
And he goes,
runs away.
And tries to hide under a ladder.
It was so good. I made a note of that. That was
like, why did they just let him keep walking? Because that looks dumber.
Yeah, it was a good shot. It's just like people just hanging around at the back door.
Yeah, it's like whenever they show crew people and they have to like pretend to blend into the wall.
Yeah.
Like, why can't they just be like, look, there's a man. It's a production. There's people wandering around. It's totally okay.
Yeah, to have people just
Fucking
there.
Weirdos.
Ridiculous. It was so dumb, but it was so funny.
Yeah, Shane comes out.
Yeah, this also comes off the back of all of a sudden like the Revival are involved with Shane
Yeah, the
McMahon.
henchmen for something.
Yeah, so that happened the week prior as well. They've sort of just jumped into this fray somehow. But yeah, Shane McMahon does come out, of course, to a chorus of boos. And he starts talking smack to Roman Reigns.
It pretty much just runs the gamut of I'm gonna punch you at Super Showdown.
And this is before
I'm
anyone
punch
else
you
comes
so good.
out.
I'm like, and then at some
I'm gonna
point,
choke you
I'm
out
gonna put you in the triangle. I'm gonna put you in a really bad triangle, and I'm gonna pretend that you punch. And then when the guy's like, hey, let him go, I'm gonna be like, nah, fuck you, bitch. And then I'm gonna like choke you out more.
Yeah.
Until your eyes bulge out, and I'm the
Roman's
best in the world.
Roman's like, cool, I'd like to see you try. And he's like, I'm going to beat the shit out of you at Super Showdown, and then I'm going to go through your henchman Drew McIntyre at Stomping Grounds. And then Drew McIntyre comes out and Shane's like, oh, you done did it now. And Drew's like, I don't need any teammates for this shit. I'm going to beat you right now. And he starts storming to the ring with Shane McMahon, and then the Revival attack from behind. And then obviously the Usos come running out, and then it's they finally get into the ring for him at the start of the match.
I'll just put it out there. It's not very exciting for the wild card when it's always the same people.
Yeah.
Because we'll get we don't have to go there in the episode. And who do you think will come across in the wild card rule?
Roman.
That's exactly who comes across.
Yeah.
There's no surprise here.
Wild card Reigns.
Yeah, as Craig said in the chat.
But yeah.
Fucking Roman wild card.
Match we've seen 1,000 times. Basically, the Usos versus the Revival with a little bit of Drew and Roman thrown in. I will give credit though. There was the double suicide dive pretty much at the start of the match from the Usos, having Roman Reigns just walk across and just yank the top rope down so they could fly over it. That was pretty cool.
I dug that.
Yeah, that was a little bit of fun.
And this is much better than the Drew McIntyre, I believe it was, versus some random fucking member of the dynasty.
Oh no, that was Shane McMahon.
Oh shit, that was right.
Yeah,
last
so
week,
the week prior, Shane McMahon had gone on some tangent about the McMahon dynasty versus the Samoan dynasty. His name is Lance Anoy.
Yeah, that's the one.
Which he is a cousin of Roman Reigns, I believe.
He's a cousin of The Rock.
Yeah, he's a cousin. Everybody's a cousin of The Rock. Did you know that I'm a cousin of The Rock?
Mm-hmm. I'm not.
You're not?
I'm a exception to the rule.
But yeah, so yeah, last week, Shane McMahon was having a match against this kid, but Drew pulled him out of the ring, brutalized him, threw him back in. He got a little bit of a upper hand, but ultimately Shane took him out. I got so mad at this match. So mad. Yeah, it was so dumb. It was just a stupid bit. Roman comes out obviously and saves his little cousin. Just
see my issue here. I can't understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to do that family angle or whatever.
Yeah.
But my problem that I'm having, it's the same problem whenever time they bring random fucking mooks out. It's like you have a roster
full of people.
Yet you choose to bring the same people over with this wild card bullshit. And then on top of that, you by doing so, you're instantly restricting whoever's on that show. Even though there may be lower card people, obviously you don't care about them that much or the story that they're telling. So let them come out and get their ass kicked.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't bring random indie fucks in. Just have them.
Yeah.
Because even if they lose a lot, you know who they are.
Yeah.
And the one of the biggest problems here is just brand, just name recognition, right? Yeah. If they're like, here is Fucks McGee, I'm like, who's Fucks McGee? Yeah. You have a great name, Fucks McGee, but I don't care.
I don't know you. I'm not even.
I don't know you. So even a vague understanding of who these people are will staggeringly work. It's just a benefit of the whole fucking brand. The random people really get their they get their shot on TV outside of the 24/7 championship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just fuck, man. Manage your stars. Manage your fucking your staff.
Yeah, exactly it. But yeah, it was one thing that did shock me a little bit was like people, the crowd at one point were chanting, "We want Roman." I was like, nobody wants Roman. This is shocking. Like,
yeah, someone's been pushed in.
Yeah, so that was really interesting as well. Look, honestly, I didn't really care too much until Shane interrupted in the match.
Yeah, even then
I was like, oh, because Roman got his hands on him and he had him, and I was just like, oh, it's gonna go down, and the crowd was losing their minds as well. And then, of course, like fucking, it was bloody Claymore kick out of nowhere, and I was like, oh, here we go, back to the same old bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Shane's back on his bullshit. But yeah, ultimately, McIntyre does get the win on Reigns, I believe.
It was a pretty clean pin, actually.
Yeah.
And like that's the one good outcome of this match at the start. It was a clean pin. Like no dirty roll ups.
Yeah.
Like it was just bang, 1, 2, 3, eat a ball, Roman. I'm out of here.
Yeah. Shane McMahon obviously gets like Drew and the Revival back into the ring.
Oh yeah, then they doost him afterwards. Yeah, but that's fine. Like they clean pinned him.
Same as always. Shane does this dumb, horrible fucking spear, and then he does a whole mocking like, ooh, and I was just like, oh god, just get out. Like, yep, okay, fine, whatever, done. Didn't care.
Yuck, dirty roll-ups, says Dash.
That's a good point.
What's the point?
If you go...
Oh, hang on, we go up to the top here. AJ or Kilobyte jumps in and goes, I find it funny that Kofi has gone to Raw a few times under the Wow God, but Seth has never gone to SmackDown.
That's interesting. It's a valid point.
You know why? Because when we go, hey, Seth, you going to go to SmackDown? No.
Yeah.
Thank you, Seth. But Kofi's like, yeah, I need people to give a shit.
But it's probably more Brock. Seth's like, Brock's staying here, I'm staying here.
No, not even that. I think it's more of like, because in terms of who deserves the belt, like they could, you know, if Kofi's like, fuck, if I do this, I'll stay relevant, and therefore I'll keep the belt longer.
Touche. So yeah, after this we get Miz TV with special guest, the man we just mentioned,
Tits McGee. What? Oh.
Tits McGee. Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
The CrossFit Jesus, they call him. So
the Beast Slayer.
Right before this, though, bear in mind they do cut to the back of the ring, and all right. There's Matthew McConaughey and Lance Armstrong in the crowd.
Oh, Matty McConaughey was there. And you should mention, might I add, later on I saw on Twitter him doing the Iconics.
I love it.
Not banging, not doing the Iconics. Like they were there doing the Iconics thing. He was there.
The Iconics pose.
I should clarify that statement because
absolutely love it. But yeah, so Miz comes out and he's like, you know, it's announced as Miz is entering that Brock Lesnar will be announcing tonight who he is cashing in on. Yeah,
because like prior to this episode, there was a video that went up on the socials of Steph McMahon being like, "Oh, fucking Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar, they did something last week, and they have to come in and fucking them. They're coming here this week." I'm like, thanks, Stephanie McMahon. You said absolutely nothing.
Yeah, right. But yeah, apparently Paul wanted to prove a point, and he said, "You know what? We're going to announce who we're fighting this week." But yeah, as the Miz comes out, he's like, first thing he says is, "Well, all right." And then he looks at Matthew McConaughey and he goes, and then puts his glasses back up and introduces Seth Rollins, who comes out. And they're like, you know, talking about the whole, like, they're going to announce what Brock's saying. And Seth is like, hold on, you're making a lot of assumptions here. It's like, first, you're assuming that Brock's even going to show up tonight. And then second, you're assuming that they're going to tell the truth. Like, you know, like, when was the last time Paul Heyman told the truth? It was like, and Seth is counting as, like, last week. And Miz goes, you thinking never? And he's like, yeah, never. Yeah. And it was just so cheesy and dumb, but I did love it.
Kilobyte adds, I remember that Corey Graves commented on Stephanie's video pointing out that Brock has done nothing wrong technically, and he hasn't. Because he only realised last week that he has a year to cash in the belt. Yeah. Cash in the case.
Which was amazing, by the way. This exchange was my favourite thing of that night. Yeah. When Paul Heyman's talking about...
yeah, because like as Seth and Kofi are trying to push Brock into cashing in then and there, Heyman's like,
No. This is later in this episode.
What was it?
Yeah, it's not that week yet.
Oh no, but for some reason this is how fucking repetitive it is. Mm-hmm. There's a point where Paul Heyman's like, reading the contract. You have until this date, and he's like, motherfucker.
Yeah, which we'll get to later in the episode because it does happen tonight, and it's the funniest exchange ever.
Contract signing wasn't reading tonight, wasn't it?
No, they read the contract tonight because he's announcing. They're announcing who. Oh, maybe I've got these the wrong way. That was last week, man. I might have these around the wrong way. Let me have a look here.
I don't. Man, no, the start of that was fine. Like you're writing the wrong.
Yeah, no. I am on the right episode, which means this does happen later tonight because I've got it written down here.
Oh fuck! Just keep reading.
So anyway, yeah, we're a little off track, but yeah. So they're announcing tonight because the week before was like who they're gonna cash in on.
That's right.
And they were still doing the like Kofi came out and he was like, cash it in on me tonight, let's do this. And then Seth was like, I'm not dealing with this, and walked away because apparently he was claiming he was gonna, and then he just didn't cash it in.
Oh,
and then,
what a butt.
Yeah,
classic butt.
And then this week they were like, that was disrespectful, you have to do it this week. And he's like, okay. But yeah, I'm getting really confused now. Maybe I'm wrong. No,
just keep reading.
Okay, sorry. All right, we'll work it out. Anyway, so yeah, after they're going on about this, they're like, oh, it never happens. And then Brock's music cuts.
It does.
And, it cuts to them, Brock driving in.
Yeah.
So yeah, the thing comes and then he starts like hammering towards the entrance, and then all of a sudden he stops just before the entrance to the ring, and he's just like, meh, and they walk the other direction.
We should also mention he's rocking his new Brock Party shirt.
Oh,
after last week, after originally 2 weeks ago using the case the boombox.
Oh yeah, it's got the little speakers.
It's now been decked out with speakers and plays other wrestlers' themes.
Oh no, you're right. So yeah, what happened? This all happened last week. The whole you were right. Sorry, I got a bit distracted there. Yeah. So last week, it was supposed to be the official announcement, and then Paul's like reading the contract, and Brock stops him like this, and he's like, "I have a year," and Paul's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "To cash in," and he's like, "A year," and Brock's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" and starts like beating him like Brock, and Paul's like, "You didn't know," and he's just beating him with the contract like. Not cashing this shit.
It's like, fuck that shit, and bounces.
Oh, it was so funny because obviously we know Brock is having no personality. So seeing that little exchange, it makes you laugh. Like you're like, holy shit, he has something there, and it's really funny. Like small, keeping it simple. It was hilarious. I was wetting myself that entire time. Just the way he was beating Paul Heyman with the contract.
Yeah.
Like, I have a year.
What we're getting out of Brock now is more than we saw the entire time he had the belt.
Yeah. I think because he is like, now we know that he's not doing UFC or anything anymore. This is his number one. This is his job now. Like this is the only job he has. So I think
he has no leverage.
Yeah, I think he's putting.
He has no leverage through the bare minimum.
Yeah.
So now it's got to be like, well, you're doing this.
Yeah. And I'm loving obviously the block party last week because that was obviously Memorial Day. They do block parties and stuff like that in America. And the Brock party shirt and the boom box and the stupid music and standing in front of Seth and playing Seth's music and Paul Heyman like playing air guitar to Seth's music and headbanging, and Brock's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like. Sorry, that was so funny.
Great. That was absolutely great.
But yeah, little bits like that. These shows just all mushed into one. I can't tell what's what. I'm so sorry.
Just keep running down that list.
But yeah, so next we do have the Lucha House Party. They're supposed to be having a tag match.
We got announced they're taking on Lars Sullivan at Super Showdown as well.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's announced that Lars is going to be a 3-on-1 match against. Them at Super Showdown. Lars comes out and attacks as Lars Sullivan does. Lucha House Party somehow got the upper hand on him, and he did a runner, and I was like, believable. But they good all power to them. Like they're obviously showing that they are going to be worthy competitors as a team come Super Showdown. We'll see, but it was interesting
I refuse to care.
It was very interesting to see Lars Sullivan retreat. We haven't seen that yet, so I was like, wow.
Because they're getting 50-50 already.
Yeah.
It's nice.
But yeah, this cuts backstage to...
early.
Yeah.
It's like Ricochet.
Yeah. This cuts back to the Iconics backstage, and they're laughing at Nikki Cross, and they're like, you look like a little sad puppy just looking for some friends, and you've made some silly friends in that mutt Becky Lynch. And I was laughing my head off. I was like, they said mutt. Nobody but us says mutt. Like, they don't say mutt in America, do they?
Yeah, it's a common term.
Oh, really? I was like, oh, man.
It's a common term, but I don't think it's used it's used to describe a dog. I don't think it's used to, like, describe people.
People, yeah. You don't call somebody a mutt like we do. Like, you fucking mutt. If I had said fucking, it would have been great. Yeah. But yeah, they're making fun. And Alexa comes up and she makes some joke about like what do they have that chain out there? Like the Outback Steakhouse.
Yeah, Outback Steakhouse,
something like that.
It's about blooming onions, I'm sure.
And they're like, no. And Payne's like, actually, I'm going to go prepare for my match against Nikki tonight.
And they did a dope like...
Yeah, and they did, the iconic thing, and they just, like, slide out. And I thought that was the best thing ever.
Brilliant. I watched that GIF like 100 times.
Yeah, it's so good. And then, Nikki calls, Alexa's like, oh, you know, like, let's go get coffee. And Nikki's like, really? And she's like, yeah, like, let's... And she's like, you know, nobody's been nice to me here. Like, nobody knew I existed, and you acted like I existed, and it's really nice, and, you know... I'm a friend, like we can be friends. Mm-hmm. And Alexa's like, oh, well, you don't, if you need a favor, you don't have to ask. Of course I'll be in your corner for your match tonight. And I was like, that's a bit sweet. And she's like, let's go throw a shrimp on the Barbie then. And I was like, oh, come on. And they sort of waltz on out to go get coffee.
Waltz.
Yeah. But that was super cute to see sort of Alexa get a bit like, you know, I don't have any friends at the moment. Nobody seems to like me. And Nikki's like, we're friends. That was a really tender moment.
I am liking this dichotomy of Nikki, by the way.
Yeah.
I like
normal Nikki,
because having her be mental outside of the ring was too much.
Yeah.
So by taming her down, but having her go nuts in the ring, actually perfect. It's actually perfect.
I do like it. Crazy on the apron.
Mm-hmm.
After this, we do get Becky Lynch coming out to have a bit of a chitter-chat. She talks about how she hasn't been home in 63 days. She's finally back home. She's like, I've done amazing things. I won 2 titles, headlined WrestleMania. I switched brands in that time. I've traveled the world in that time. And she's like, and I became content with what I've got. And she's like, but that was my downfall at Money in the Bank. She's like, you know, a content champion is not a fighting champion. And that caused Lacey to get the upper hand on me to get Charlotte the win. She's like, that triggered something in me, and I know that I can't be content and I have to keep fighting. As she's going on about this, Lacey comes out and Lacey's like, oh, Becky, you know, you're like a dog chasing a car. This is like in less than 10 minutes. That's the second dog joke about Becky. Poor Becky. She's like, you're like a dog chasing a car. Like, you know, you're never going to catch it. And if you do, like, you don't know what you're going to do with it. And she's chattering away, and Becky's like, she goes, and she's like, well, I do declare. I was like, yeah, Becky, you mock the shit out of this bitch. It was so good. Like, Becky's just like, well, I do declare. As like they're having a little banter, I can't stand Lacey Evans. I don't pay attention to what she says. Charlotte comes out.
Not Charlotte.
Charlotte. And she's like, you know, no excuses, Becky. You lost to me. Like, it doesn't matter how you lost. The fact is that you did lose. And Becky's like, yeah, but where's your title? And she's like, I may not have the title now, but that doesn't defeat the fact that I am the 9-time WWE Women's Champion. Lacey's just like, yeah, well,
I'll fight you.
Why are you here? Like, you're not from here. Why are you here? Because Charlotte Flair is the wild card tonight. She's like, you come in here strutting like a peacock, needing attention because you're a daddy's girl. And Charlotte's like, look, you can talk about my daddy all you want, but you got to remember that I'm already halfway to what he made in those 16 championships. True. She's like, I'm over halfway there already.
We should also mention last week there were friends.
Oh yeah, they had a little.
Then they weren't friends,
party.
and they had a bus on, and then Charlotte like fucking super kicked Lacey in the face.
Barefoot. Took her out barefoot in the middle of the ring.
Dig it.
So good. Because, Lacey had a match against...
Some fuck, I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember now. But, yeah, Lacey had a match, and Charlotte was ringside for it. And against Bayley.
Yeah.
She was fighting Bayley. And then, Bayley sort of... Like, Charlotte stood up to Bayley. Bayley elbowed her in the face and sat her back down in a commentator's chair. Charlotte sort of got in the ring, and it was distracting the referee while Lacey was trying to do a roll-up, and then ultimately Bayley got the roll-up and won. And Lacey cracked the shits and attacked Charlotte, and there was, a bit of a duzz on. And the barefoot super kick was great. And I was just like, yeah, you tell her, Charlotte. And Charlotte's yelling at the referees at the end of it like, get my shoes. It was so good.
Oh, Killer Bite brings up a good point. He goes, Can Shayna Baszler come to the main roster ready and take out Lacey?
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I want Shayna. I need her. I need her in the main roster.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, Charlotte continues and she's like, what, you've been here a whole of 4 minutes and all you've fucking done is made tea? That was pretty good. I love when Charlotte speaks. I know Dash hates it, but I love when Charlotte speaks. She is fire on the microphone.
It's good.
But yeah, Lacey's like, do you need me to educate you on how to be a lady? I'll educate you with the woman's right. And then out of nowhere just does Charlotte in the face. So they get a bit of a biff on, and then a referee out of nowhere. Becky's just standing in the corner like, oh, here we go. And the referee's like, yep, this is a match now. This is going to happen right here, right now. Becky get out of the ring. Everybody gets undressed and ready to do the fighting. As Lacey and Charlotte are doozing on, which I really enjoyed because Lacey and Charlotte have very similar styles. So it was a very power heavy match. Like it was very blow for blow, back and forth. Like I really enjoyed watching it for some reason. I hate Lacey Evans, but I really enjoyed watching that match. But yeah, as they're fighting, everybody's like, we want Becky. And Becky's just looking around. She does like this pretend little run up to the apron. They're just like mucking around on the ringside. It was so funny to watch. And then, I can't help but not mention how terrible this leg sweep by Lacey was. This is how much Lacey shits me to tears and she needs to be educated in her job. She was on the apron and she goes to do a leg sweep on Charlotte, nowhere near her legs. And the professional that Charlotte is, Charlotte just drops to play it for her. I was like, I love you, Charlotte. You just do everything so flawlessly and perfectly. And if you want, y'all watching at home, I watch like a friggin' hawk for this shit. I love picking out things that people do wrong because I'm a horrible person. But I was just like, Lacey, like professionalism, please. You call yourself a lady, but you can't even do your damn job. Like, but it was pretty funny. But
I'm a bit more, I tend to ignore the mistakes a little bit more. I'm like, I can't do it, so who am I to judge?
Yeah, exactly.
Saying that though, if it's someone I don't like, I'm like, fuck you, Lacey Evans. Yeah, you fucked that up. You botched the shit out of that.
That's what you get for being a piece of shit.
Yeah, so
go back to making TV.
Only pieces of shit botch.
Yeah, exactly it.
I'm like, hey, did you see that when Finn Balor botched? I'm like, oh, he did. It's fine.
Finn did not.
He's fine. Finn's cool, man. I like
exactly
Finn.
it. Becky never.
Becky never botched.
But
what about that roll up? What about the shitty like crucifix pin at WrestleMania?
No, it's fine. It's fine. But no, like Lacey, I just put it down to clearly Lacey. She hasn't had enough matches yet. She's not up to the speed that say your Charlottes and your Becky's are. So I put it down to exhaustion for her. Might be a little bit exhausted. You're miscalculating things. Like, shit happens. We're human. We make mistakes. But yeah, it's very evident that Lacey does need a little bit of a catch up in that respect. Because I did find that she starts to slow down a lot quicker than Charlotte did. Yeah. Which kind of ruined the pace of the match a bit for me. Really slowed it down. I got a bit bored. And at the end of it, like Becky ends up grabbing Charlotte's legs and just sweeping her out of the ring, which obviously causes a disqualification. And I believe Corey pipes up and he's like, oh, like what a dumb idea by Becky Lynch, like taking that out. That means Lacey's technically got the Killer Bite jumps in and goes, the crucifix pin, that was clearly Ronnie's fault. I'm exaggerating a point. Then the idea of like, as long as she's involved, as long as someone I like's involved, I'm like, yeah, you throw it out the window. It's fine. But yeah, Creeves is like, oh, why would you do something stupid like that? Lacey gets the win. That means Lacey gets paid more tonight. And I was like, oh, Graves with the the fourth wall breaking. Like, I love it. But yeah, Becky's got this new move called the Manhandle Slam, I believe they call it, which was really cool. And yeah, just like completely does Lacey with that and then disappears. It was amazing. But that ends that little segment.
Yeah, this is all kind of a blur to me because I kind of vaguely gave a fuck. So
yeah, I was sort of half invested, but you know me, I like to take a lot of notes. After this, we do unfortunately have Rey Mysterio come out. We did find out last week that he has separated his shoulder at the hands of Samoa Joe's attack after winning the title. And he does this week have to relinquish his title.
Yeah, so he comes in, he's sort of telling this little story, and he's like, blah, 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 blah.
Talks about Dominic.
Talks about Dominic and how he's doing well. And
training and paving his own way in this industry and how he's got high hopes.
They're very much hinting that Dominic's coming out at one point.
Yeah.
And then he's like, as a champion, blah, 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 blah. Samoa Joe's music kicks in. Joe walks in being fucking dope as all hell. He's like, I heard the word champion. I thought you wanted me to come out here, man. Because as you know, you didn't fucking pin me.
Yeah.
Like, I should be the champion. You need to relinquish this shit and give it to me. And Ray's like, calm your fucking farm, Joe. Step the fuck back. Let me finish this.
Yeah.
I relinquish it to Joe, and he's like, fuck yeah. Chokes him the shit out.
Yeah, it
really makes me like the way that that Joe rips him. I wonder if Ray's injury is real.
I think it may have been. I think
because like if you've jacked your shoulder and someone yanks you back onto your shoulder, not good, man.
Yeah, it's tricky.
Unless Ray's like, sure, I'm going away anyway. Fucking wreck it.
Yeah. What I did love, obviously, El Paso, Texas is like a highly like.
El Paso is a brand of like Mexican food. Are you sure it's the real place?
It's the real place. El Paso, Texas is. They're closer to like the Mexican side of America. So
because there was a lot of
Ray was speaking
Spanish,
a lot of Spanish and Spanglish and stuff like that. So that was really cool to see him giving that nod, and he was saying things that obviously only the crowd were going to understand to Joe's face, and it was really cool to see that. But yeah, he goes to lay down the title. Joe interrupts, and then that brutal like cocaine clutch, ridiculous, and then Joe just up and leaves. I thought that was a bit shitty of Joe. Like, you got your title back.
He's been a monster. I like it.
No. But I did like that Ray was like, I'm gonna relinquish my title to Samoa Joe. I thought that was a pretty cool nod. After this, earlier in the night, we did find out that there's going to be an arm wrestling match against Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley. Braun Strowman comes out, Bobby Lashley comes out. Braun comes out, and then there's a video of the whole Cesaro Ricochet thing. Yeah. Little video package of them because they just throw them in randomly all over the place.
Because you fuck if you want to remember what happened last week. Yeah. You didn't get a choice anymore.
Yeah, because they're playing them every, it's 2 weeks in a row. Yeah.
Video packages, everyone.
Yeah. Gets back to the arm wrestling match.
Yeah, so comes in, Bobby Lashley comes in. They're getting ready to rock and roll in this arm wrestling thing. The ref's like, put your hand here, motherfucker. And then as they're ready to rock and roll, Bobby Lashley smacks Braun Strowman in the face. Yeah. Braun whips that shit across him like, no.
And he's like, get the stand back up.
Yeah, so they have the stand back up. Do the arm wrestle. Bang, bang, bang. And of course, these hands win. Boos. Braun Strowman gets the arm wrestling pin on Booby Lashley.
On Booby Lashley. Booby cracks the shits and he grabs, they got like a bucket of chalk for their hands. Yeah, the first time they slip and they're like, I need to chalk hands. And then chalks Braun Strowman in the face and just beats the shit out of him.
All set up for Super Showdown.
Yeah, exactly. He was a bit meh, definitely. And then it cuts to like they're talking about the 24/7 championship and how it's anywhere, anytime, 24/7. And it cuts to like a video of Truth and Carmella at the golf course. And Truth's like, it's nice to just relax. Carmella's like, I want to see your golf game. And then out of nowhere, Jinder Mahal with a referee just comes, rolls up Truth, gets the pin, gets the title. 2 seconds later, Truth just rolls Jinder straight back up, gets the title back, jumps on his little cart and goes zooming off with Carmella.
This is very mixed. One, it's fucking awesome.
It was great.
I love R-Truth, and the more they have him with the belt, the better.
Exactly.
2, why is Jinder Mahal in his little jockeys? Like, why could what does he have?
Because it's his wrestling gear.
Yeah, but like,
put
him in jeans and a shirt. Like, if it's anywhere, anytime, just have him like
casually, like at the golf course in a golf outfit.
Put him in like a the slacks and like the sweater vest and the like. Yeah, and just then have him then turn around and bam. Yeah. But like having him in his wrestling gear, like really was like that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, no, you make a point there. That does.
Which is because like R-Truth rocking cash, like, but granted that's his gimmick. His gimmick is like he's that very kind
straight
of
casual,
straight cash clothes. But it was just that because Carmella was in straight clothes, like she was in her shit, and it was just weird.
Yeah, it was a little bit weird.
And like on top of that, in terms of the realism, like I understand it works for like the coming out of nowhere in the camera.
Yeah.
But like if you sat there and I saw someone coming from right, then like. Is that Jinder Mahal?
Yeah.
Because like Jinder Mahal
everybody else
is a unit.
Yeah.
I'm like,
he is a tall, dark dude on a bright, sunny golf course.
I'm like, is that a brick wall coming at me? Yeah. Oh, it's Jinder Mahal.
Oh, no, that's Jinder Mahal. Jinder brick wall.
Jinder brick wall.
That was good. Thank you for the setup.
No worries.
But I just love that like Truth comes running off and he grabs his title and then he's like,
and they scoot away in the car.
And he's like getting dragged behind the golf cart. It was pretty good. Next, it's Nikki Cross with Alexa versus Peyton Royce with Billie Kay in her corner. Peyton just stands in the ring just doing the like iconic slide for ages and like I think it was Michael Cole's like, Renee's like, what is she doing? And Corey Graves just seamlessly and flawlessly goes, she's being iconic. I was like, you tell Renee, Corey, that was great. Just without a beat. Renee at one point likens Nikki Cross to a Tassie devil. I was like, she's not wrong.
Yeah.
Running around.
Sure, she too has the weird like face tumor that tends to kill wasn't. Real problem with Tassie devils, by the way. She doesn't have face tumor. I'm just being mean.
But yeah, throughout the match, honestly, I didn't pay too much attention because we have seen it previously, just with Becky Lynch.
Yeah, it was just all you need to know here. It's another match. The Iconics lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
They although
Peyton
they
screaming at the referee to count faster.
Although they currently have the longest running women's tag team champions.
Yes, they are.
They are yet to defend it.
Yes.
There's another pay-per-view at Super Showdown where they are not defending it.
Yeah.
We have no word of Stomping Grounds yet, which is in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And they have lost every singles match they've been in.
Yeah.
And then, any non-title match they've been in since.
Yeah.
Whether it be singles, whether it be team. I understand. I think I said this before, but like I truly understand why Sasha.
Get a pin on Charlotte at one stage?
That may have been prior.
Yeah.
But like, I understand why Sasha was pissed, man.
Yeah,
they have fucking buried those belts.
Yeah, unfortunately. But it's still funny to watch them. It's funny to see Billy on the side of the ring yelling, "Break her arm, sweetie!" Just shit like that. It's like, you gotta be joking me. They also had a week match last week against Becky and Nikki, and obviously Becky and Nikki won. Becky being the winner.
Credit to Nikki getting wins though.
Yeah, exactly it.
They did win immediately after getting the titles. Thank you, Keller.
Oh yeah, and didn't they win that stupid little? They had some nobodies that looked like the moment.
Oh yeah, but that does, once again, that doesn't count because they're fucking nobodies.
Yeah, exactly it. But yeah, Alexa gets a coffee delivered, and Peyton's like, "Are you kidding me?" And Alexa just goes, flick, and just flicks coffee in her face. So she kicks the cup out of her face, and then Billy Kay comes running over and like pushes Alexa in it. It's like high school shit, like kids pushing each other over. And Alexa's obviously sitting there all stroppy because her white pants all have coffee on them. And this distraction obviously causes Nikki to get a roll up and a win. And Nikki's obviously stoked and she's celebrating and excited, and she jumps out of the ring and grabs Alexa, and Alexa's just all stroppy and like, no, no, no. And Alexa gets pissed and she sort of pushes Nikki off her, and she goes running into the ring where a defeated Peyton is being tended to by Billy Kay and just drops Billy Kay beautifully. And then like Nikki's like, dude, stop, it's okay, we won, we did it, we won. And like she's holding up her hand, and Alexa's like, yeah, and we won. And like Nikki's dragging her around the ring, and she's got coffee stained pants. It was a bit funny. Like, why would you wear white jeans if you're having coffee? Let's be honest. And then yeah, that was that. And after that we come to Seth Rollins. He comes out and he's waiting for Brock. It's like, get out of here. I'm sick of your games. I'm sick of your bullshit. Rah, rah, rah. Because, yeah, last week they were going to announce who Brock would be facing. Brock was just dicking around, and Seth just like, I'm not dealing with this shit, and just walked out of the ring. And then, like, Paul Heyman chucked a strop, and he's like, he just ruined the party, so we're not going to announce it now. Just dumb. Anyway, Seth is like, I'm sick of bullshit. Brock's music teases, and it's not Brock. And then Baron Corbin comes in.
Oh, I love Baron.
Yeah. And he's like, your focus shouldn't be on Brock Lesnar right now because we have a match next week at Super Showdown, and you should be worried about me, not Brock Lesnar. And as he's babbling, like, there's a little bit of like a scuffle between them. They get a bit handsy with each other, and they get a bit fighty with each other. Punchy. Punch handsy. Get a bit they get a bit fighty with each other. And then fake, like, Brock's music hits again, and Seth's just like on alert, and it ends up being a fake again. And Corbin hits Seth with an end of days. After this, Brock finally friggin' comes out.
Just beats the living piss out of Seth.
Suitcase and chair and tail. Absolutely dissects Seth. Like, completely just brutalizes him with a chair. Throws him all over the place like a rag doll. He was left in the middle of the ring. They had to get like the medics down with the
and during this, the whole time, Paul's like, "Do it now, man! Cash in now!"
And
like,
Brock's like,
"Fuck,
no,
Friday! After Friday!"
He starts yelling Friday, and Brock's like, "No, but I told them now!" And he's like, "Friday!" and beaten with a chair at the same time. But yeah, Seth gets carted out and taken to an ambulance. It cuts to him backstage, Becky in hand, super sweet.
Very nice.
Yeah, very sweet. Carting him away. Super beautiful. They get in the ambulance, it leaves, and it cuts to our favourite show, Firefly Funhouse.
Oh my fucking God, was this Brent?
So yeah, last week on Firefly Funhouse, Bray Wyatt talks about his little secret. He's got like a little paper plate with the mask drawing on it.
We did confirm the name of the of his new persona. It is called the Fiend.
It is called the Fiend, and the Fiend is a protector. He's apparently here to protect us. And Abby pops up.
He's there when he needs to feel confident and needs to feel powerful.
Yeah. And Abby pops up and she calls him a sicko, and he's like, I'm not a sicko, Abby. You know that. And she's just like, why won't you let me rest? And he's like, ha ha ha. Oh no, she goes, what are you, a doctor now? And he goes, and then he bobs down and pops up with like a little coat on and all the doctory stuff, and he's like, well, looks like the diagnosis is in. Abby, you're a bully. And she's like, why won't you let me rest? He's like, I'll never let you rest, Abby. And she's like, I'm sick of being stuck in limbo. And he's like, yowie wowie, did somebody say limbo? And then there's two somber kids just like,
there's that spider crab walk again.
Yeah, and then he does that weird lean back spider crab walk, and he does the whole like, I'll lead the way, you've just got to let me in. It's just super creepy and weird, and I love it.
So this week was a little bit different. It was more of like the educational style kids show, and it's like, this week we're going to talk about exercise. Because there's a little piggy character, and he's
Huskus
like the pig boy, and him just munch on chocolate. They're like, nah, man, you look after your body, blah, 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 blah. And they sort of just like, they're like, well, we'll do this little dance. What was it called? The Muscle Man dance. And it's fucking stupid.
They have like a little Vince puppet pop out.
Oh
like
my God, yes.
You can tell it's a Vince McMahon. He's like, if you two don't sort yourselves out, you're gonna be. And he's like, whoa. It's okay. We're gonna pick up our act. And then they do this weird like the Muscle Man dance. And they're like, do the Muscle Man dance. And, like posing and dancing around. And it's just, it's so stupid, and it's like, so funny.
The social media post from Bray leading up to it was like, hey, in this episode of Firefly Funhouse, we're going to be seeing the villain of Cat in the Hat. I'm like, Alec Baldwin? I'm like, where are you going with this? And then it's the Vince puppet. I'm like, okay, kind of looks like Alec Baldwin, I guess.
It was
it was very, very cool. So yeah, and then it cuts to this very like 80s, like
shake your hips
film clip, like
do the Muscle Man dance.
Yeah, so it's just this weird like dance, and like multiple copies of him dancing, and it has that moment of a little bit of weirdness where it's like, shake your hips and free your mind.
Yeah,
and do the Muscle Man dance, and like it was really, really good. Like I'm watching it and I'm giggling out loud, and like, fuck, man, the Firefly Funhouse stuff is literally the best thing about WWE right now.
It is amazing.
Kilobyte jumps in and he goes, I love these segments, especially the throwbacks to his previous gimmicks.
Yeah, it's so good. After this, we get a Triple H and Randy Orton face-to-face, obviously, to get us psyched about their match at Super Showdown. I love that, like, as soon as Triple H comes out, everybody's chanting NXT, and he's like, yeah, well, we're here to talk about Randy Orton. And then Randy Orton, I hear voices in my head. And I was just like, oh, shit's gonna go down.
Speaking of Triple H, though, everyone should go and watch the Triple H documentary show on the WWE Network right now. It is fucking brilliant. It shows how this man truly cares for every person in that locker room, whether they be crew, whether they be the performers. He gives a shit about all of it. He does so much for the business. He should be the head of WWE.
He
at this point.
Will be.
Like, and he goddamn better be, because he is what will save WWE.
Yep, 100%. And I think that ties back into the AEW thing. Like, they know that he's going to be in charge, and that's why they're using him as iconography and not something about Vince, you know. Anyway, Randy Orton does come out, and I did notice as he got into the middle of the rope and he did his little pose, he was like this. He was like a snake. And
was doing it for you?
And I was like, that's so cool. Like, he's being the Viper. Like, it was a cute little nod.
Digging it?
Yeah, it was really, I was just like,
oh.
Granddaddy. But yeah, Triple H just straight up, he's like, you know why we do this face-to-face stuff. It's like, it's literally to just drum up interest for a match, but we don't need to. We've done this show. We've been here. We've done this. He's like, all I need to tell you is I'm going to kick your ass at Super Showdown.
I'm going to kick your ass.
Yeah, exactly it. And Randy's like, hey, that's all well and good, man, but can you do me can you do me a favor? Can you take your balls out of Stephanie's purse before our match? And Triple H just starts laughing.
Look, to their credit, because I'm like, oh, lame. Fucking lame. But then, of course, then Triple H, with what feels like a shoot, sort of just steps back in the ring, and he's like, you know what? Maybe I should, because it will release the burden of my wife having to carry that shit, because they are just so big and huge that it just drags on her arm and she's uncomfortable. And then what I'll do is when we go to Jeddah, I'll hopefully they're not too heavy that I can put them in the in my carry-on luggage, and then I can take them with. Then it's just
and I can give them to you because you clearly don't have any, which was hilarious. And I think the best thing about it was like Randy was so hard just like trying to keep a straight face, but you couldn't, and I couldn't help but giggle, and Triple H was giggling, and it was just the most beautiful moment. One thing I did really appreciate though was like just before this, Triple H is like, one thing about these video packages that they keep replaying is like one thing that sticks into my mind is I said to you like we are going to put so much pressure on you.
You are the diamond,
and you are going to become a diamond for this industry. And it's like, you have. He's like, you truly have, and I believe that, and I respect that. But I'm still going to kick your ass.
Yeah, I'm punch your face in.
Yeah.
He goes, like although that I said that you were the excellent, there has been many people that have tried to like be the one to take me down, and they are, and like none of them are here.
Yeah, and you're not it, kid. Yeah. Which was really cool as well. But yeah, the whole like, as Triple H is leaving after giving the whole like, I've got massive balls speech, as he's walking out, he gets to the top of the apron, gives us a little DX chop as he walks out. Beautiful nod to the end of that. After this, Baron Corbin does get interviewed by Kayla, I believe, and she's like, what do you think about this whole Seth thing going down? And Corbin's like, like, I'm so shaken up by this. I'm so worried about nothing. I've got to go home and celebrate. Oh no, he's like, I've got to leave to celebrate. He's like, Brock just did my job for me. Like, thanks, man. I'm gonna win the title next week, or this weekend, or whatever it is. Yep. And I was just like, yeah, cool, okay, bye, Baron Corbin. And he's like, you're looking at the new next WWE Universe champion. And I'm like, me.
Fucking hope so.
Baron Corbin, me. But
I don't want
it'd be cool, but I don't think just yet.
Nah, and then have Brock just fucking mush him.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, like this thing. Baron wins it. Brock comes in and just fucking pounds Baron Corbin into the ground.
Do you think Seth will win it back from Brock eventually?
Probably.
Maybe. Without a dick kick.
I just want to see Baron get fucking mushed.
Yeah, without a dick kick.
Yeah, no dick kicking.
Yeah. No dick kicking. There's so much dick kicking going. Yeah, because Brock Lesnar came out and dick kicked first.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Forgot about that. Next we have, we've seen over the last 2 weeks now, we have another match against Ricochet and Cesaro. This is like the 3rd week in a row. You know what? I am here for it. These two put on an amazing match. They are so good in the ring together. Like, I like that it's been balanced over the weeks. Like, one week it's really Ricochet heavy. The next week it's really Cesaro heavy. Like, I'm really enjoying the balance. Like, initially I was like, oh, not again. But then I was like watching it, and I was watching what Ricochet was doing, and I was slowly like edging on my seat, and I was just like, this is great. Whoa. Like, I was just getting so excited by it.
It's a conflict for me.
Yeah.
Like everyone, they're like, here's Ricochet and Cesaro. I'm like, fuck, man, this is the 3rd week in a row. And saying that though, each match they have progressed. Yeah. Like, the matches are getting more intense, and you can clearly tell that like there is some really good stuff here.
Yeah.
The problem is by having them one win, then the other win. And it's the same 50-50 bullshit. So regardless of what happens in the match, the result means nothing.
But
in terms of it just being entertaining match, cool. But like, where's the long form here?
Yeah, but in saying that, Ricochet won last week.
Did he?
Yeah, and he wins again this week.
I'm saying, who fucking like? What's
so
the thing? Like,
I appreciated that it was like, Cesaro's like, I can't believe I lost to Ricochet last week, and then Ricochet, spoiler alert, gets the upper hand and wins again this week. One thing I'd love to hate is that friggin' Cesaro swing, that little swingy thing he does. It's so dumb. It's so funny, but it's so stupid. Like, just stop. But yeah, Ricochet wins this match with a roll-up. Cesaro gets pissed, though, and he attacks from behind this time. Like, he's upset that he's lost 2 weeks in a row. And he jumps out of the ring, and, like, while Ricochet's laid out, and he goes to grab a ladder, and he's like, nah, and puts the ladder back, and then grabs out a table. And as he's pulling it out, R-Truth emerges laying on the bottom of the table. And he's like, this is really heavy. And R-Truth is just like
he's got that freak face. He's like, Fucking kill a bite with the right ear. Screw 50-50 booking.
Yeah.
Does. It's the worst.
But yeah, Ricochet's obviously laughing. As Cesaro's holding this table, like, Ricochet just does jump out and give like a big old duzz to his face. And then you see all the Horde, I call them the Horde, it's just like the same people every week, comes barreling down the ring chasing after R-Truth because he's still got the 24/7 title, which he did lose last week to Elias.
And then got it back.
Got it back at the end of the show thanks to Roman Reigns, which I hated Roman Reigns up until that point. I was like, hey, I like you for this moment. And now I hate him again. I just find him boring and useless. Yes. Cedric Alexander sort of like, as like the crowd are hoarding R-Truth off the side of the ring, Cedric Alexander comes running over and like suicide dives onto everyone. And while he's doing that, R-Truth jumps into the ring. And Drake Maverick's standing there and is like, it's you and me now, buddy. And Carmella slides into the ring because Carmella shows up chasing the Horde as well. And she just super kicks Drake Maverick straight in the face with her bright pink shoes. Wanted papers go everywhere. And she just grabs Truth and runs. Obviously, this is a pattern we're seeing very regularly every week, which is still a good pattern. My favorite part of it is when like R-Truth just shoves like Carmella just jumps on Truth's back and like he piggybacks her out. Like it's so funny. Like it's so good. It's like you think by now it'd be getting old because it's what happening with like 4 weeks now, 3-4 weeks.
See, all this is showing is that R-Truth is the best person to have this on. Because this being a very clear joke belt. Yeah. The character that R-Truth has is it's this fine balance between idiot and like funny and like he's genuinely funny. Yeah. Like his comedic timing and delivery is on point. So on anybody else, none of these bits would have worked. Yeah. These purely work because it's R-Truth.
Yeah. It was so freaking good. And to end the night, we have The Undertaker. The Undertaker comes out to address obviously his match for Super Showdown. Beautiful. Everybody loves a good Undertaker entrance. They take the entire show, but it was a bit of fun.
Like 45 minutes free and comes Taker.
Yeah, exactly it. As soon as he gets into the middle of the ring and everything comes down, there's just Undertaker chants like billowing through the studio. And Taker pipes up and is like, have you ever wondered what happens when you face death for the first time? You know, do you smell rotting flesh? Do you see a light? Does your life flash before your eyes? It's like, well, Goldberg's going to know the answers to those.
Yeah, come Friday.
He's like, Goldberg. But I don't want family man, happy-go-lucky Goldberg. I want the badass, legendary ass-kicker Goldberg. He's like, I want the Goldberg, he said his words were, I want the unstoppable, mythical icon Goldberg.
And Goldberg will... It cuts because he went over time.
Yeah. Well, first he's like, I'm going to claim your soul. Goldberg, you're next. And then it cuts. And I was like, okay, so you used Goldberg's line. Where's the rest in peace? And then I found out after the fact that he went overtime, so they had to cut him. And then right after you're next, and you will rest in peace. And I was like, God damn it! Don't make your entrance take so long. I know you're old; it takes you a bit longer. You got a mobility scooter, I get it, but you can hear the golf balls squeaking. But yeah, that was a really like lackluster just cut to the end of the show, which sucked.
Yeah, man, it was real abrupt.
Real abrupt, but that's what the Undertaker gets for not
being an old prickery dude.
Yeah, exactly it.
What do you think?
Look, overall it wasn't too bad. I think if I put the shows together, I'd maybe get one thumb out of it.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, sorry, go.
I was gonna say, I think like the thing that made it for me was R-Truth. Like R-Truth just makes everything.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like I give it a one Kurt Angle.
If I combine the shows though, they're about half each.
Yeah, right down the middle. Like it was fine. The problem that we're facing here is, in terms of response to AEW, we're not seeing anything, which is interesting. Apart from a minor mention of in the Sami Zayn segment from last week with the electric chair, that's questionable at best. Yeah. But like, there seems to be like in this 3-hour time slot, there was 40 minutes of wrestling. Yeah, 40 minutes. Yeah, in 3 hours. Now, if they're trying to sort of have some point to be like, well, here at WWE, we tell better stories.
Yeah, it's not happening.
They're not doing it.
And it's really hard as well because they do have 2 pay-per-views within a week of each other. It's really tricky because they're now having to cross over both. And it's making it really hard. You know, we've got this match at Super Showdown, and this match is going to happen straight after at Stomping Grounds. Like, it's really getting all mushed together because they are so close together. And I think that is their downfall right now. It's just too much going on at once. And
100%.
I can't keep up. Like I said, like everything's just mashing together. I don't know what's where and whose match is doing what.
Oh my God, what was I wearing off?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Ugh. All right, let us know what you thought of this week's episode of Raw. Almost at SmackDown then. Let us know this week's episode of Raw in those comments below, Facebook group, all those other assorted places. Now, let's head into SmackDown. Now, looks like I'm running out of storage on this computer here because it does save to 1 hard drive. So, we'll have to tear through this one if we can.
Yes.
SmackDown kicks off with the New Day. So it is just Xavier and Kofi. They do walk in, and there's, of course, a fucking video package. But this one's a little bit different. It's not a repeating what's happened in the past. It's Kofi. He returned to Ghana.
For the first time in 26 years, he returned home to Ghana, Africa.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So to see all his fam, it was very, very nice.
Family hasn't even met yet.
He's talking about how it was all well and good. I got to, see aunties and uncles I haven't seen, I've never met before. Like, cousins. Like, I got to see my grandmother for the first time in 26 years. Got to give her a hug. And, like, something that, I haven't done in a very long time. And then Dolph Ziggler comes out and he's like, it should have been me. I should have hugged your grandmother. No.
Pretty much.
He just returns with the same old gimmick. If it should have been, he's the kind of little thing right now. It's like, should have been me. I should be the one that's been fucking awesome. Blah, 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 blah,
yeah, the last
blah,
2
blah.
weeks he's been like, I respect you, rah, 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 but I'm going to do as you because it should have been me. Ridiculous.
Yeah. That's it. Then they show some old footage of Dolph sort of dumping the USA title and walking out. And it's this weird sort of throwbacky thing.
Kofi's like, it should have been you. You walked out. Like, you dropped your title and you walked out. Like, how dare you? Yeah, completely ridiculous. Super, super dumb. Like, I don't know.
Give me one sec. Keep chatting away. I'm just going to move some stuff around so we can keep going
here. It was a lot. Like, he's just like, Kofi's like, you think this should have been you? Like, what have you done to deserve it? You walked out. And I think it was from December 19th, 2017 when Dolph's like, I'm going to leave you with this and puts down the title and walks away. And then Dolph just sort of stares at him, doesn't say anything, and then shows the video package. Another video package. This is the third in like 5 minutes of him just doing Kofi Kingston. 3 weeks straight. So
just showing like this sort of my face looks fucking whited out, right? Just sort of showing the footage of him of the last 2 weeks since he's returned, just pushing on Kofi.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's all well and good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit average. And then Dolph ends up waltzing out and Kevin Owens comes out.
Yeah, with Sami Zayn and we have a tag match. Tag match. So Kofi and the New Day versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. While Dolph watches backstage on a weird angle like this.
Yeah, because weird angles.
Because that's how people watch
that's
TV.
apparently how they watch it.
We've frozen over here. Hang on.
Oh no, we freezed it.
What? Hang on 1 second.
Hold on.
There we are. We're
we're back. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that.
Technical difficulties.
So Kilobyte says Dolph's probably going to be gone once again. Super Showdown. That's true because we do know that he is there as a replacement for Kevin Owens because Kevin Owens refuses to go to Saudi because Sammy also refuses to go due to it's just freezing because I'm transferring files. That's fine.
Yeah.
We'll give it a minute because I'll edit this. I should edit this out, but I'm probably not going to.
We'll see. Won't be too much longer.
Elevator
music.
The problem that we're having here is because the memory card's full and I'm lazy and I left the little USB thingy at home. At work, so I can't transfer shit as easy as I should be able to. All right, 1, 5, 4, 3, 6. Very, very quick. All right, and it's done.
Dune skis.
So if I come in here
and
I reboot this motherfucker. And now apparently at some point I bumped Adobe Premiere, which I don't want open, so that's interesting. Oh, fun times. Right, close that down. We're back again. Very, very cool. All right, we're back. All right, fuck yeah.
Great success.
Yeah, tag team. Kofi.
Yeah. So Kofi and Xavier versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Meh.
Yeah, nothing really stood out here, sadly. Like, even with Kevin Owens, it was nothing here would really sort of caught my attention.
Yeah. I think for me, I was a bit like meh, because last week, the first match of the night was Money in the Bank rematch, Kevin Owens and Kofi Kingston. So I was a bit like, oh, I've seen this. It's just with 2 extra people. But yeah, I do believe Kofi gets a Trouble in Paradise for the win, most likely. Kofi being a champion always gets the win.
Yeah, so Kofi got the win here, which is cool.
Yeah.
Because, wins matter only sometimes.
Yeah.
Shane McMahon comes out. He shows some footage of what took place last week with Roman Reigns. Claims anything Roman can do, Shane can do better, because he is, in fact, the best in the world.
Yeah.
And then he also calls out Roman for a little bit later. And we should also mention that in the last match, Dolph Ziggler did run back in and proceeded to do some pussing on Kofi and Woods. There were a lot of Ziggler sucks chants was the big thing of note there.
Yeah, it was. That was just a little rubbish ending, because it just seems to be the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. It's just, once again, so this is the problem with any go-home show. It kind of just, not a whole lot happens because it's building into the next thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I was listening to Pumpy Hand.
That's all right. But yeah, obviously Shane, video package about Roman Reigns last week. What do we got here?
That's pretty much it, man. There's not much really happening.
Yeah, that was it.
It's just more of the Shane repeating himself bullcrap, and it's a real bummer. But
yeah, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna come to the ring and call you out later."
It's this weird thing. Like, I was really excited about heel Shane. Like, if you go back like X amount of weeks, I was like, "Fuck yeah, heel Shane, heel Shane."
Now I'm bored.
But now I'm bored.
Yeah.
Because they're doing more of the, greatest, best in the world shit. Like, we're getting in this repeat cycle here. Like,
the same repeat of, like, what kind of man punches another man's father? Like, oh my God, I've heard this shit for the last month.
He needs to get fucking wrecked, and I guess Roman's that guy.
Yeah.
I guess Roman's going to put him in his place, and then we're going to go. Next up was a moment of bliss.
A special moment of bliss.
A special SmackDown version.
Yeah.
Which I forgot about. With Bayley.
Yeah. WWE Women's SmackDown Champion.
And so she comes out and they sort of have this little to and fro.
Alexa has a sook about her coffee. She requests a new one. Bailey's like, the champ is here. Are you going to ask me a question? Alexa's like, in a minute. I'm just waiting for my coffee.
Yeah, so showing off a new cup, for the new Alexa Bliss merchandise, which is, like Alexa's coffee. It's Taste of Bliss.
Yeah.
And that's all on the store right now.
Yeah.
So they did a bit more.
Which they did have that cup
promoting
on Raw
of that
when she got kicked into her own coffee.
So as the random lackey fuck comes out and hands her the takeaway mug, Bayley wrecks that shit out of her hand.
Because Bayley was saying something beforehand, and Alexa's like, yeah, that's all well and good, but I'm just gonna.
Because they're sitting there, sort of, they're talking about, and Alexa's like, well, when I was 2-time SmackDown Women's Champion, this, and this, sort of pulling out this, like, hey, yeah, you're a champ, but I'm better.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Doing some good, Alexa Bliss stuff. I do love Alexa, but I think she's actually on point. And she did come out in her ring attire.
Yeah,
we should also mention as well.
Yeah. Bayley did not, which was interesting.
Bayley did not. So then Carmella comes out, sort of doing, talking about
Miss Money in the Bank.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Because Alexa talked about when she was Miss Money in the Bank, and how she cashed in and whatever. Yeah. Carmella comes out, does the same thing, talks about her time as Miss Money in the Bank, talks about the time she cashed in, and then Charlotte comes out in her Lady Majora outfit.
Ring attire.
And then she on this very same thing. She comes out and talks about, I was just chatting to my friend Shane McMahon to talk about who will become the next contender for
Bayley's title.
At
Stomping Ground.
So not Super Showdown, obviously, but the one after.
Yes.
So it was more of a triple threat match between Carmella, Alexa Bliss, and Charlotte Flair. I was very happy with that at that moment.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
a match I want to see.
Yeah, that was really cool. Charlotte's delivery, again, always on point. Charlotte's so good with how she says her inflection on things, just absolutely beautiful. So yeah, she's like, that's right now, let's go. And they all sort of head down in the ring and the match gets on its way.
Yeah. Does the match happen then and there?
I think so.
No, it happens later.
Oh, does it?
Doesn't matter because then it cuts back to there's an ad break and then backstage with Truth with Carmella, and he's talking that he's been calling Shane McMahon to sort of have a chat about the 24/7 championship because they said as you said, it's ruining his life. It's preventing him from doing fucking anything. It's just getting right in the way, and it's a real big problem. He can't go to the toilet. He can't go shopping. He can't do anything.
This comes all off the back of last week. Truth did interrupt. Shane had an appreciation night. Truth did interrupt as he was running away. He got pinned by somebody. No, he defended against Drake Maverick. Successfully defended his title for the first time. Shane got pissed, had him attacked by Drew McIntyre and Elias. Elias ended up covering for the pin, took the title. And then later in the night, obviously the whole Roman Reigns things happened. They have a tag match against Elias and Drew McIntyre, Roman and Truth. Roman ends up winning the match, helps Truth get the title back from Elias, who's left laying in the ring while Shane and Drew McIntyre hightail it. So this comes off the back of that. Obviously, Truth's like, Shane won't answer my calls or anything, and Carmella's like, my phone's ringing and it's Shane. Why is he calling me? And Truth is like, oh, I've been using your phone. And she's like, what? Just so funny the way he's just so stupid.
I'm using your phone, duh. Like, I don't know where I am.
Yeah, exactly.
They're trying to chase me down. I like that.
I don't know who I am, where I am, or what I'm wearing. Yeah,
so he's having a chat to Shane, and it's pretty much that very exposition heavy, which is fine. He talks about the idea of, yes, you're getting a sanctioned match tonight. This is a, proper, by the rules, by the book. None of this anywhere. It's a match against Elias in the ring right now. Yeah. So as he gives Carmella the phone, runs off. And
my opponent's in the ring right now.
Yeah, and Carmella grabs the phone. She's like, under what stipulation? And then it cuts an ad break. Comes back. So it cuts Elias in the ring. Ad break. Comes back. Truth and Elias are in the ring with all the horde around the ring in a lumberjack match.
And I believe nobody's allowed to interfere because 24/7 rules are suspended for this match.
Yep. So during the scuffle, R-Truth does get ripped out of the ring by Elias, gets totally kicked the shit out of, thrown back in. Elias gets the pin. He becomes a 24/7 champion.
And immediately
the second that bell stops, everyone runs in, gets all up in it. Elias in almost cartoonishly fashion slinks out while the fight's still going around him. So he gets out, goes underneath. So he gets out underneath the ropes, come out, crawls away, stops, sees R-Truth. They're both on their hands and knees. Elias goes, turns around, climbs under the ring. R-Truth follows him. Ref follows him. You see, they cut back to the
minutes to fight in the ring. Nobody realizes that Elias is not there, by the way.
Yep.
And then you hear a ding, 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 and R-Truth comes crawling out with title in hand and just does a runner.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful. That was beautifully executed. Dash does make a good point with the 24/7 belt last week. Truth doesn't have to pin anyone. He doesn't have to defend it. But it's cute that he did.
Yeah.
That just proves how silly he is and how much he doesn't understand. And that just builds Truth's character, which I love. But the whole under the ring thing, like even though you don't see it, it's so funny to see how that came out.
Yeah, I did quite like that.
That was such a fun little bit.
It was silly enough to me. It's almost like they are hitting some cartoony points here. It's almost like there's that cloud of fight, and then someone comes out of it the victor.
Yeah, exactly.
While the cloud's still going. Like as I said before, by having it on R-Truth, it is 100% the right decision. It's the best possible outcome right now.
And it's beautiful.
Next, we get a backstage segment with Aleister Black, following on what he mentioned last week, the idea that he is open, essentially putting out an open challenge to anyone come and take him on.
Yeah, so last week he said he's like, I know you're wondering who I'm going to pick a fight with. That's not the case. I want somebody to pick a fight with me. And this week he's like, I'm waiting patiently, begging for somebody to come. Waiting impatiently, begging somebody to come. My name's on the door, just knock.
Yeah, because whether it be out of fear or intelligence, like people aren't coming to me to get the deuce on. So he's pretty much ready at this point. Like, fucking fight me, piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly. Which is cool. I like that he's beckoning the fight. He's not making it. I think that's really cool, and it adds to the mystery of Aleister Black.
Next up, Shane comes out with the Revival once again and talk about neutering Roman Reigns, because there's a lot of dog references.
Yeah, there's a lot of dog references.
Yeah. Which makes sense in the big dog. Roman can't, so I think they're in the ring at this point.
Yeah.
So then Roman does come out. Revival fucking run him. Superman punch into both. Throws one of them into the set.
And
the set rockets around for a little while. Pretty alright. Yeah. Let's see.
And then he starts making his way beelining down.
That's right. He starts making his way down to Shane in the ring. Out of nowhere comes Claymore kick from Drew McIntyre, and then with assistance, Shane manages to get the spear on Roman, and then he's lying there going, which means he's going to kick the fuck out of Shane at Super Showdown.
And
I'm very, very keen for that story to go away.
Yes.
Then finally, the triple threat match between Charlotte, Alexa, and Carmella. It was fucking good.
Yeah, there was a brutal sunset flip.
Yep.
That Alexa did to Charlotte. Absolutely vicious. It was so beautiful. It's good to see Alexa back in competition.
Well, because after previous mentions that she was not cleared to wrestle due to concussion concerns, which seemed to be an ongoing situation for Alexa, it's very cool to have her in the ring. Like, second I saw her in that attire, I'm like,
she gonna fight.
I went the other way. I went, And then second, she gonna fight.
Yeah, I was all about it. I'm always keen to see Alexa in the ring and see what she's made of.
So it was a really solid match. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Alexa Bliss does come out the victor, which gives her a shot against Bayley at Stomping Grounds.
And this
very happy.
Yeah, this comes off the back of our good friend Sex and Violence.
Yeah.
Fire and Desire, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville come out. Obviously, they've had Mella's number since last week. Something went down with Carmella.
Since Money in the Bank.
Since Money in the Bank, yeah. So they had a little scuffle last week with Carmella. They had Mandy and Carmella had a match with Mandy. Did come out the victor.
And Killer Boy does bring up a good point. Thank the heavens that Charlotte doesn't get another title match. Agreed.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. But they come out, they end up interfering, grabbing Carmella's leg, which ultimately gives Alexa the upper hand to get a big old roll up and do the winning, which is cool. I'm really excited to see Alexa back in the championship scuffle.
Yep. The interesting fact is here it is a Raw competitor going for a SmackDown belt.
It'll be interesting to see.
Which makes me wonder the outcome.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if she does change brands. That will be really cool. But
with Miz TV on Raw now, there's no TV show. Oh, there's the KO show, but who knows what's going to happen there.
Kevin Owens did say last week that he wasn't going to open with a KO show or something.
Yeah. So next we get Kayla having an interview with Lars Sullivan.
Apparently his first speaking interview.
She's in the ring looking like fucking shitty, like scared shitless. Yeah. So Lars comes in
his first speaking interview for the second time.
Yes, but the first time he got mushed by LHP. This time he does come out and actually talk, and it was all right.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, it certainly wasn't me going, oh, finally he's spoken, and by God, was it worth the wait. It was fine.
Yeah.
Like, apparently he was an exceptional talker at NXT.
Yeah.
Like, during his promos in NXT.
I mean, he said some really cool things. Kayla's like, what drives you to do this? And he's like, what drives a lion to kill prey? Like, why? It's nature. Like, why would you ask me a question like that? It's just in my DNA to rip apart and dehumanize and ruin people. That's just who I am. And
fuck them all up because I am Lars Sullivan.
I found it really interesting. I find when he started speaking initially, I was taken aback because he has a very heavy lisp. Very heavy. I believe he's tongue tied.
I think he's tongue tied and he's bottom and he seems to have an underbite. Like his his
I feel like he's heavily tongue tied because it looks like his tongue is pinned to the bottom of his mouth. But yeah, it was really interesting because even with such a heavy lisp, which people find really comical, he's still like creepy when he talks.
Because like in terms of the lisp, it wasn't like a big lisp like this. Like it was just a little slight. It was almost like a denture lisp.
Yeah.
Like as in wasn't enough to really like hang on those like noises. Yeah. It was enough to sort of add that mildness to it, but it still works.
Like just the way he speaks because it's oddly calm. It makes it really unsettling, and I love that.
I agree. Let's see.
And he had a lot to say, which was nice.
He did. He had a lot to say. They sort of gave him a good moment to shine, and I really enjoyed it.
I appreciate it.
Next up was a match between Andrade and Apollo Crews. So, of course, Andrade was supported by Zelina Vega. Andrade was in the ring first. As Apollo gets in, he gets in the ring. Bell rings. Andrade just fucking decks him right in the corner as in and there. Next thing, Finn Balor comes fanging it in, and they get a big old dos on. So obviously, a DQ win there to Apollo Crews.
Yeah.
Was barely addressed.
Because, Finn Balor out of nowhere. Because last week, obviously, we had an interview with Andrade and Zelina. There's a video package from Finn saying, we're 48 hours out of Money in the Bank. I'm not cleared to compete because I took, I got powerbombed into a ladder. I got dropped on a ladder. He's like, I'm not medically cleared. And Andrade's like, you didn't just get powerbombed. I powerbombed you on that ladder, and you've got some inner demons you're gonna have to face when you face me at Super Showdown.
So we know the demon is
taking over Finn Balor at Super Showdown. Lame little segment. I think Andrade could have done a bit better with it. But anyway, obviously Finn's pissed by those comments, so he comes barreling out of nowhere. Ends up getting mushed with this brutal hammerlock DDT from Andrade. I love DDTs. Oh, the hammerlock is just amazing. Yeah. It is next level DDT.
And then finally, Goldberg does come out.
To address.
I'll let you run this one.
Yeah, Goldberg comes out to address the Undertaker regarding next week. So Goldberg's music hits. You see earlier in the night he has all this security standing near his door. You see a knock on the door and Goldberg comes storming out, like just big brooding. Everybody's losing their minds. Goldberg chants just billowing through the studio. Goldberg comes out and he's like, guys, stop it. Like, don't do this to me again. Because same thing happened at Hall of Fame, and he's a WWE Hall of Famer, and he got super emotional. Like, he cares so much, and he cares about the universe caring. And he's like, guys, like, Undertaker said that he doesn't want, father happy-go-lucky Goldberg. Oh, as he's walking out, by the way, he shakes hands with this little kid. It was really sweet. Beautiful moment. Goldberg's just really sweet like that. But yeah, he comes out, he's like, you don't want the dad-friendly, like, you don't want that Goldberg. You want the ass-kicking legend icon. And he's like, you know what? You want it, you've got it. Because, I'm facing the dead man and, you're next. Because that's his line. Really cool sort of setup. Like, Goldberg's like really...
So I've been leaning back because of difficulty breathing.
Yeah,
so
go for it.
Snorting and shit, so keep talking.
But he goes on to talk about how, like, this is the first match we've ever had together, and, like, it's going to be something, like, to be remembered. And it's really cool to see Goldberg, like, getting into it. And as this is going on, all of a sudden you hear the gong and the venue goes black. And I was like, oh, Undertaker's going to pop up right behind Goldberg. And, of course, it cuts back and everything's blue and the Undertaker's right behind Goldberg, who's facing the front because they always do. It's like, yeah, bring it on. Oh, he's behind me. Here right there, isn't he? There's a bit of that moment.
So they get into them, it's almost like they're about to smooch each other.
Yeah, they get super close. They're just like, chicken, who's going to go first?
And then fade to black again.
Bong! And then black again. And then Undertaker's just gone and Goldberg's like, what? Wow. See you at Super Showdown. And as he's walking out, he like hugs this little girl and he gives a high five to the little guy, and it was just super sweet. Goldberg's just the loveliest dude.
Yeah, and then it does end with like a big promo for Super Showdown.
Yeah,
sort of
big
showing all the matches that are heading into this and trying to get you to care.
Look, this episode felt a bit rushed to me, obviously because I needed to get that end bit as well. I felt Goldberg's promo was a bit rushed. I felt like it was better. I think SmackDown overall, again, they're prevailing as a better show at this stage.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying them a lot more. There's less to it. You don't get so confused, like, what's going on? I'm back and forth and back and forth.
And there was wrestling.
And there was, more wrestling, which is always good as well. More engaging wrestling, too. So, for me, I reckon I'd probably give SmackDown's a 1.5 collectively.
I give it a 1 too, but it's a more heavy one than a soft one.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So, Raw is like a soft one. It's like, just a 1.
Being generous, yeah. Whereas this one's just solidly. Yeah.
It's not quite 1.5. About 1.
Yeah, see, I'm being generous. I reckon I could push a 1.5 if you smush them both together.
Yeah, so like SmackDown is still by far the better show.
Yeah,
it's unquestionable.
At the moment, for sure.
It's good shit.
But yeah, with the last 2 weeks, they did just sort of blend into each other. So I don't really think it makes a difference.
I do hope we see some more stuff after the Super Showdown. And obviously it's not going to be a lot.
Going straight into stomping ground.
Yeah, because like 1 week, there's not a lot of story set up there, and that's going to be a problem. And as we see more of these double up months, that's going to be a big concern. Yeah,
but they need to start
we'll see how that goes. Let us know what you thought of this week's episode of SmackDown Live. Those comments below, Facebook and Discord, all those links are in the description below. Come have a chat with us. And finally, as we do every week, we end the show in the dirt sheet. Our good friend Dash comes through.
Dash.
He scours the interwebs. He makes phone calls. He sends emails, the occasional telegram. Everybody he needs to know.
Somebody one time.
He hunts them down. He gets the details of everything that we need to know about coming in to this week. So this is Dish in the Dirt with Dirt Sheet. Dash, before we jump into that, Kilobyte does mention it'll be another Greatest Royal Rumble Backlash 2018 situation again. So pretty much on the point there.
Yep.
So we do have 1, 2, 3 bits of news here on the Dirt Sheet. And some gentleman named Dash in the chat goes, I hear that guy's sexy. He's pretty cool.
That Dirt Sheet Dash.
Yeah, that Dirt Sheet Dash is up there. Number 1. NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff and All Out will take place on the same day. And
Ooh.
Triple H says the UK brand is looking to make a statement before AEW's big show. The WWE executive told Kathy Kelly in a post-TakeOver 25 interview that the date of the NXT UK TakeOver Cardiff had nothing to do with that particular day, contrary to what might be suggested. He claimed the venue was booked long before WrestleMania. It just wasn't announced until now. As we previously reported, he says, both shows will take place on August 31st at different times. Triple H reiterated his statement about the date of the show during a call with the media after the show, but stated the NXT UK brand is looking to make a statement that day, then look across the pond and say follow that. All Out will be headlined by Chris Jericho and Adam Page, wishing to determine All Elite Wrestling's very first world champion. And we should also mention as well, on I believe it's the day of the NXT UK Cardiff, there is also a show literally the same night from New Japan.
Oh, wow.
In London, so right near each other. Now I did hear on the interwebs that there was this weird situation of that someone looked at the numbers of someone knew someone that was the ticket selling, and they saw that the NXT UK had sold less than New Japan had sold less than 5,000 tickets. Oh, wow. So like, all right, cool, let's drop the NXT UK here, same day, same time, it's right around the corner. Little did they look in the wrong place, because they looked at one ticket seller, not all the tickets sold. So there is quite a numerous amount of tickets sold for this New Japan show. So I think it will be a very light crowd at NXT UK.
Yeah, for sure.
It's very interesting. I don't think that NXT UK is in the same caliber as AEW. Once again, having them across the side of the world of each other, probably not too much of a concern.
No.
If anything, it's a real bummer to NXT UK because they are going to miss out.
Yeah.
Because of this.
Yep, definitely agree.
Big shame.
Yeah, interesting.
Number 2. Just weeks after leaving the WWE and debuting in AE's Double or Nothing, Jon Moxley has since become the new NJPW. So New Japan Pro Wrestling's new IWGP United States Heavyweight Champion in a match that took place Wednesday night during the finals of the Best of the Super Juniors event, where Moxley, sporting new gear, faced off against Juice Robinson. After a hard-hitting contest, Mox ultimately won with a modified version of the Dirty Deeds to capture his first post-WWE title.
Yes!
Moxley is the hottest wrestler in the world right now, with many post-WWE interviews stating how WWE treated talent creatively, even going as far as stating that Vince McMahon was the problem. Quoting Vince on Talk Is Jericho, which we haven't talked about yet, fucking phenomenal episode, stating that there were many times he approached Vince with bad ideas that led Vince to rebutting with "It's such good shit," which has now become an internet meme. So although we didn't mention it because we weren't here last week, there was an episode of This Is Jericho dropped, which is essentially a big old shoot interview. Sorry, Talk is Jericho with
amazing.
Yeah,
you have to listen to it. I had to listen. It's long, but it goes into so much depth about how Moxley was treated in the WWE as Dean Ambrose. How they were just doing stupid shit with him, and he's like, I'm not gonna do that. And Vince is like, no, but it's good. You have to. And he's like, you know what? I'm a professional. I'll make the most of what I've got. And he made it work.
Saying that, though, it did really solidify a lot of the things we already knew about WWE's behind the scenes.
Yes.
Like, it's all these things that we heard about and we kind of like thought this was the case. But no, then he's come in and go, it's pretty much everything you've heard, everything you know, everything you believe about how behind the scenes of WWE works.
Exactly it.
It's exactly how it works. And the problem is Vince.
Yeah.
He said explicitly, the problem is Vince. He talks about Brock Lesnar, every time the Vince brings Brock Lesnar in to ruin the company.
Yeah. You have to listen to it.
You have to say, this is good shit. I can't even do it. Charlotte Flair, this is good shit.
It's ridiculous. But you have to listen to it. It's up on the YouTubes and stuff like that. I think that's
it's on podcast services. You got to go check it out.
It's amazing.
But so in Moxley's first full-blown match external to WWE, he comes out with a fucking belt.
So he fucking should.
Damn right he should.
Moxley is amazing. They're not wrong. He is the hottest wrestler in the world right now.
Dude, the match was really on point. So very kindly, Dash hooked me up with a little bit of access yesterday. He's like, hey man, I got you covered. Buzz. And then sends me this beautiful little way to go check out this match. And it was dope. Like, it wasn't as hard hitting and bonkers as I wanted it to be, of what my expectations were.
Yeah.
But I still thoroughly enjoyed it. There was still blood.
Yeah.
Like, there was a lot of out of the ring stuff. It was really, really good.
Beautiful.
I'm so excited to see what John Moxley can do more.
I am so
moving
excited
into the future. I do wonder how long he'll retain this belt for. And one of the big benefit of All Elite Wrestling and their flexibility is he could always just take that belt with him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
and bring it back to AEW.
That's so good.
Speaking of following up on that first news story, Killabite does jump in and goes, NXT UK is still getting settled as well, given it is still a relatively new brand. That it truly is.
Yes.
And it's working. And it's getting there.
Yeah.
It'll get there. But
definitely.
Pardon me. And finally. And then Dash says he will have to defend it again this Sunday night at Dominion.
Yeah.
So even if he has it for like 4 days, it's pretty sweet.
I think he's going to hold out
I think he'll hold it for a little while until his little mini contract with New Japan runs out, I reckon. So it's probably like a month, maybe 2 months.
Yeah.
Not even that.
Yeah.
All right. Ready for this last one? It's a big boy.
Yeah.
It's a big boy.
Bring it.
Are you ready?
Bring it.
Ooh. We can now confirm here exclusively on The Young and the Wrestlers that CM Punk has signed a 2-year deal with All Elite Wrestling. This isn't an exclusive AEW contract, however, as the deal has been signed with the television network TNT. Due to limited contractual rights, Punk currently has with MMA company Bellator. Punk's TNT contract stipulates that he may appear on any show that are partners of the Turner Network, which includes AEW pay-per-views. This now fuels further rumors that Punk is scheduled to debut at AEW's All Out, which is taking place at the same venue of last year's inaugural All-In pay-per-view, the Sears Center Arena in Chicago, Illinois. And you should also note that on the marketing material for All Out, they're using the same little stars that CM Punk has been using in the past.
Fuck. He's the greatest in the world. Like, he is the greatest, and he's finally coming back. I feel like
Craig jumps in and goes, crash the window. The hell?
I fully just want to jump through a wall and be like, oh yeah. Like, I feel like the Kool-Aid guy right now. Like, holy shit, this is huge. This is huge. CM Punk has been out of the game forever. What, 2011 was his pipe bomb?
Something like that, yeah.
2009.
Yeah.
Around there. I don't know. His pipe bomb was huge.
At least 5 years ago. At least.
Yeah. Over.
Yeah.
Well over.
Only because I can't confirm. I'm just saying at least.
Yeah, it's well over.
Implying that it's been a fucking long time.
He would... The mullet just said he'd be good at he'd be a good fit for AEW, and I couldn't agree more. I think Punk hitting is going to be as big, or if 2011 was a pipe bomb, I was right.
Thanks, Dash.
Thank you, Dash. Huge. It'll be absolute. So that's what, like 8 years. Anyway, it'll be July 11, 2011.
Dash knows what's up.
Dash knows everything. Oh, July 2011. Sorry. But yeah, it'll be as big, if not bigger, than Moxley. Yeah. This is huge. Like, huge. Especially because it was teased a couple of weeks ago. Punk did show up at a little indie show. Did a little bit of a dozen, but he was like disguised.
Did he finish it, which I can't remember what it was called?
The Go to Sleep.
The Go to
GTS.
Sleep. Yeah, GTS.
Absolutely beautiful, that move.
Yeah.
I love it. It is vicious. It's a vicious, like, knee drop thing. Great. I'm squealing. Yeah, the mullet said you thought the crowd popped when Moxley appeared. I will literally squeal so loud that, like, the whole street will be like, what the hell is somebody being murdered?
Josh Saunders, fellow pop culturist, he will literally pee his pants.
I will probably wee a bit too.
Yep.
And yeah, I am so excited for this, to hear that he's coming back. I could talk about this forever. I am so excited to see CM Punk come back. Yeah,
so for me, like, once again, having not seen a lot of CM Punk, like, to me, he is kind of that myth, that legend, like this name you hear. It's this name you hear on the wind. Like, you always hear about these. They fucking heard about CM Punk, really. Like, it's one of these, like not like Chinese whispers, but it's his name you've heard everywhere. I've heard it everywhere, but I've never seen it.
I'm on the edge of my seat right now.
So, me personally, like, this is very, very cool. I think this would be a mad, huge dick kick to WWE and to any promotion. Like, if they can, all it will do, it will solidify the power of AEW.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. And I'm literally shaking in my seat right now. I am so excited for this. The mullet just said Josh will pee in both of our pants.
Yeah, he'll pee in all our pants.
He'll pee in all the pantses.
This is a huge get.
This is massive. And I'm going to be hanging with anticipation until I see him hit a screen. Because he's the greatest.
So we've gotten to August. We've got 2 months.
He's the greatest in the world.
2.5 months to see this go down.
Dash, you just made my night.
And that brings us to the end of this episode of the Young on the Wrestlers on Our Own Pipe Bomb, apparently.
Yeah.
So this show comes to you every Friday morning at 8 a.m. on the podcast services, and including Spotify and on YouTube at 9 a.m. If you want to hear shit like that live, head over to patreon.com/thepopculturist, where supporting us at any tier gets you the sneaky little link to come and watch us as we record this show.
Yeah.
If you want to support us in a more one-off fashion, you can head over to thepopculturist.com/shop, where you can buy shirts, bags, books, phone cases, and other assorted shit with our logos on it. And we are also on twitch.tv/thepopculturists.
You can at us.
You can reach us. You can reach out to us directly. Our Twitter handles are underneath us. I'm at HaggardMC. She's at Jem the Piercer with a J. And if you've done listen to wrestling, why don't you go head over and listen to our PlayStation podcast called For the Players. Comes out every Monday.
Yeah.
Man, a big old bomb at the end there.
Yeah, big old pipe bomb.
Whew.
Dash aims to please.
Yeah, Dash.
He's got me all tingly in the right spots.
Oh, Dash.
Well, CM Punk does, but Dash
Dash with the assist.
Dash with the assist.
Yeah, man. He wingmaned the shit out of that.
Yeah, he did.
But until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
And I'm Nasty Jem Punk. I'm Gemma.
See you then.
Bye.